This isn't going to be easy to talk about, but I need to get it off my chest. I think, I think I'm a jerk here. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I just got a heavy dose of karma, and I'm still trying to process it. See, my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, she told me I was just jealous of her money. She laughed at me, and I just calmly said, "You're right. I am jealous." And then I logged into my other bank account, and everything just came crashing down. It all started 2 years ago. I met Vanessa at a mutual friend's party. She was a total firecracker, smart, ambitious, and she worked in pharmaceutical sales, pulling in over $120,000 a year plus bonuses. Me? I'm a logistics coordinator, making about $55,000. Not a bad living, but definitely not her league. And she made sure I knew it. All the time. Before we moved in together, she literally asked to see my pay stubs. Said she needed to assess the financial risk of living with me. I was so smitten I just laughed it off. I told myself it was her just being practical, a sharp businesswoman. But I should have seen it for what it was, a giant flashing red flag. We moved into her downtown condo, and she was generous, I'll give her that. She charged me a super low rent, $800 a month for a place that would normally cost twice that. But she never let me forget it. "You be paying twice that for a studio," she'd say, a little jab in her voice, a constant reminder that I was living on her charity. The spending started to get out of control. Designer purses, fancy dinners, weekend trips to wine country. She'd buy a new Tesla and then complain she was broke by the 20th of the month. "Credit cards are free money if you pay the minimum," she'd joke. Meanwhile, she'd side-eye me for buying generic cereal. Last Tuesday, the whole thing just exploded. She just dropped over $3,000 on a luxury retreat in Sedona for her and her sister. I made the mistake of suggesting maybe she should slow down on the spending since she'd been complaining about her Amex bill. "Oh my God, seriously?" she laughed, a mean little twist in her mouth. "You're giving me financial advice? You make less than my quarterly bonus. You're just jealous because I make more money than you." And that was it. That was the moment. The final straw. I looked at her, so smug, so confident in her little fantasy, and I just said, "You're right. I am jealous." Her smile widened. "At least you can admit it," she said, leaning back, all pleased with herself. "Maybe focus on your own career instead of counting my money." I just pulled out my phone and logged into my other account. The one she didn't know about. The one with a balance that completely destroyed her entire reality. You see, my grandfather had been a small-time landlord. Nothing fancy, just 3 rental properties he bought in the 80s. When he passed away 5 years ago, he left them to me. I sold 2 of them and kept the third as a rental. After taxes and expenses, I cleared a nice chunk of change from the sales, about $180,000. The rental brought in an extra $2,100 a month. I've been living well below my means, investing everything. That account had over $250,000 sitting in it, growing and growing. I just handed her my phone. Her face went through about 12 different emotions as she stared at the screen. Confusion, disbelief, anger, then pure, unadulterated entitlement. What is this?" she stammered, her voice gone quiet. "My investment account," I said, my own voice calm. "And before you ask, yes, it's all legit. Inherited property. Sold it. Invested wisely. I've been doing this since before we met." She looked at me, a wild look in her eyes. You've been lying to me this whole time." "Never lied," I replied. "You never asked if I had other assets. You only wanted to see my pay stubs, remember? You needed to assess the risk." That's when the mask completely fell off. "We're building a life together. You should have told me. Do you know how much stress I've been under thinking I was carrying us financially? Carrying us?" I couldn't help but laugh. "I pay your rent. I buy groceries. I pay for half her dates. How exactly are you carrying us?" And then she said the quiet part out loud. "I've been subsidizing your lifestyle. This condo, our vacations, everything. And you've just been sitting on a fortune." It was all a lie. Her generosity, her low rent, it was all a part of this grand performance she put on for everyone. I'd been a project, a boy to be saved by a successful woman. But the reality was she just wanted access to my money. All of my money. That's when I knew. I knew this wasn't love. It was a business transaction. The narrator
And
takes a deep
I was
breath,
about to go bankrupt.
shaking their head slightly, as if remembering a bad dream. The whole thing, it went downhill so fast after that. I just remember standing there, phone still in her hand, and her just cycling through emotions. It was a terrifying kind of performance. First, she was angry, spitting venom about how I'd been deceiving her. Then it turned to tears, big, fake crocodile tears, about how she couldn't believe I'd betrayed her trust. And then, the next thing I know, she's all smiles and calling me babe again, trying to talk about how we could use this money to finally buy a house. She actually spent the next 2 hours cycling between anger, tears, and these bizarre attempts at reconciliation. It was like watching someone try on different personalities to see which one would get the best result. And suddenly, I was babe again, not the roommate she'd been calling me to her friends. The real kicker came the next morning. I woke up and found her on her laptop browse Zillow. Like nothing had happened. She looked at me and said, "I found some amazing houses. With your down payment and my income for the mortgage approval, we could get something really nice." I just stared at her. "My down payment?" She nodded, completely serious. "Well, yeah, I can't liquidate my Tesla lease, but this is perfect. We can finally upgrade. I'm thinking at least 3,000 square feet. Good school district for the future." The sheer audacity of it, it just took my breath away. "Vanessa," I said, my voice quiet, "we're not buying a house together." And she got this confused look on her face, like I was speaking a foreign language. "Why are you being so selfish? This is what couples do. They pull resources. Like you pulled resources when you made me pay rent while telling everyone I was a freeloader." I shot back, and that hit a nerve. Her face went red. "I never said that. Your sister literally asked me at Thanksgiving if I'd found a better job yet, because Vanessa can't support you forever." Want to guess where she got that idea? The air in the room just went stale. The little mask she was wearing just fell apart. I think that was the first time I actually saw the real Vanessa, the one behind all the designer clothes and the yoga poses. The one who saw me, and probably everyone else, as a stepping stone. From that moment on, she went into full-on manipulation mode. Suddenly, she was the perfect girlfriend. She cooked dinner for the first time in months, even though she burned the chicken. She was all over me, trying to be intimate every night. And then she suggested we should talk about our future financial goals as a couple. I came home from work the next day, and she had an actual PowerPoint presentation on her laptop. I am not kidding. Slides about optimizing our joint financial potential and leveraging assets for mutual growth. Girl literally had charts showing how our money could work better together. The kicker? She'd already calculated how much I'd save on taxes by maxing out deductions on our future house. "See," she said, clicking through slides about mortgage rates. "It just makes sense. With your assets and my income, we're a power couple. Why are you fighting this?" "Because 3 days ago you were calling me jealous and broke." I shouted, completely done with the charade. I was frustrated. You know how stressful my job is. I didn't mean it. Then came the guilt trips. Her mom, who I'd met twice, called me to say how happy she was that Vanessa had found someone stable. Her best friend texted me, asking if I could help Vanessa look at engagement rings because she was too shy to bring it up. The girl was orchestrating a whole campaign. She was weaponizing her entire social circle against me. And it was all in service of getting her hands on my money. The breaking point, the real, irreversible breaking point, came yesterday. I came home to find Vanessa with a financial advisor in my living room, going through my mail. My mail. "What the hell, babe?" I said, my blood running cold. "Perfect timing. This is Bradley from Wealth Partners," she said, all bubbly and fake. "I thought we should get professional advice about combining our portfolios." Bradley looked as uncomfortable as hell. Vanessa said you were running late, but approved the meeting." "I approved nothing," I said, my voice low and dangerous. "You need to leave." Vanessa tried to play it off. "Don't be rude. Bradley came all this way." "Bradley can bill you for his time," I said, my eyes locked on him. "Get out of my home." After Bradley practically ran out the door, Vanessa lost it. "Your home? I own this place. And I pay you rent," I replied, grabbing the stack of my mail from her. "Which makes me a tenant with rights." And going through my mail is a federal offense, by the way. You're being ridiculous. I'm trying to help us. No, I said, the word just flowing out of me. You're trying to help yourself to my money. Pack your shit. We're done. She stared at me, her mouth hanging open. Excuse me. You have no respect for boundaries, I said, my voice steady. No respect for me. And apparently no respect for federal mail laws. I'll be out by the end of the month, as per our rental agreement. Until then, I'll be staying in the second bedroom. And if you touch my mail again, I'm calling the cops. She actually laughed. A harsh, barking laugh. You're breaking up with me because I want to plan our future? Good luck finding someone else who will put up with your trust issues. And good luck finding a place this nice for $800 a month. I already signed a lease, I said simply. Turns out when you have excellent credit and proof of assets, landlords love you. The switch from confident to panic was instant. Ew. Already found a place? When? Last week, I said, a little smile playing on my lips. When you were at your Sedona retreat, spending 3 months of my rent money on crystals and chakras. That's when the real, ugly Vanessa came out. The one her work friends probably see when someone steals her sales lead. You vindictive little piece of shit, she screamed, her face contorted in rage. You've been planning this, while sleeping in my bed. The bed I've been paying to sleep in, I corrected her. That bed. She threw a wine glass at the wall, missed me by a mile, but made a hell of a mess. You think you're so smart with your secret money? You're nothing. I made you look respectable. My friends think you're a loser. Your friends think what you tell them to think, I said, and started walking toward the second bedroom. And considering you've been lying to them about supporting me, what does that say about you? She started grabbing my stuff, throwing it into the hallway. Joke's on her, though. I'd already moved anything important to my buddy's place. She was basically throwing out old t-shirts and phone chargers I bought at the gas station. Get out, she screamed. Get out now. Legally. You need to give me 30 days notice, I said, turning back to face her. I have tenant rights. The look on her face when she realized I was right, it was the most satisfying moment of my life. I'll make your life hell, she threatened, slamming her bedroom door so hard a picture fell off the wall. Cool, I said calmly. I'll document everything for the restraining order. Then I just went to the second bedroom, locked the door, and started recording on my phone, just in case. Within an hour, she was blowing up my phone with 82 texts, ranging from, I'm sorry, to you're a pathetic man-child, to we can work this out, to I'll sue you for emotional distress. Then came the Venmo requests. $400 for emotional damage, $800 for last month's rent, $50 for utilities overages, $3,200 for half of the Sedona retreat, because we were a couple. I screenshotted everything and declined them all. Around midnight, I heard her on the phone with someone, crying about how I'd financially abused her by hiding assets. The delusion, it was so strong with this one. And I knew I was in for it. They were educational. You ever think you know someone, and then they just shatter every assumption you've ever had? That was Vanessa. She went from zero to psycho so fast, but in the stupidest ways possible. I'd promised myself I'd document everything, and thank God I did. First, she tried to change the locks. I came home from work, and my key didn't work. The locksmith she'd hired was still there, and I just showed her my lease agreement and my ID. The dude looked at Vanessa and said, Ma'am, you can't lock out a legal tenant. I'm going to have to give him a copy of the new key. She tried to argue, but the locksmith wasn't having it. Look, I don't want to get sued. Here's your key, sir. He handed me the new key while she stood there looking like she'd swallowed a lemon. Then came the utility warfare. She shut off the Wi-Fi, changed all the streaming passwords, and, accidentally, I think, turned off the hot water heater. Joke's on her, though. I got unlimited data and a gym membership. Cold showers sucked, but I documented everything and filed a complaint with the tenant board. I was building my case, brick by brick. But here's where she really messed up. Remember that financial advisor, Bradley? The one she brought to my living room? Well, Vanessa gave him my personal information, social security number, and everything, lifted from the mail she went through. Bradley, probably wanting to impress a potential client, ran a credit check without my authorization. That identity theft. And Bradley's firm, they do not play when it comes to liability. I got a call from their compliance department after I reported it. They were very interested in how Vanessa got my information and why Bradley ran my credit without written authorization. Turns out this could cost him his license. Bradley, being the cornered rat he was, threw Vanessa under the bus immediately. Sent me the entire email chain where she claimed I was her fiancé and that she had power of attorney. She'd even forged some documents. It was beyond insane. While this was going down, Vanessa was spinning a completely different story to anyone who would listen. She posted on social media about how she discovered her boyfriend was a secret millionaire who had been taking advantage of her generosity. Her friends were eating it up, commenting about financial abuse and gaslighting until I posted my response. Just a simple screenshot. It was our text conversation where she admitted to lying to her friends about supporting me, plus her Venmo requests for things like emotional damage. I tagged her in it with, "Weird how I was taking advantage when I paid rent and half of everything." Also, $267,000 doesn't make someone a millionaire, but math was never your strong suit. The post got deleted within an hour, but the damage was done. Her sister actually messaged me privately. I knew something was off when she said you were broke, but somehow afforded Hawaii last year. Sorry she's being like this. The house of cards was starting to fall. Then came the work drama. See, Vanessa thought she was being clever by calling my employer, trying to get me fired. Told them I was mentally unstable and hiding illegally obtained assets. What she didn't know, my boss's brother is a tenant lawyer. My boss called me into his office, and we had a laugh about it. And then he handed me his brother's card. Sounds like you might need this. Also, take a few days off to handle your move. Paid, of course. Can't have employees dealing with stalker ex-girlfriends. I was so grateful. The tenant lawyer was thrilled with my documentation. She changed the locks, cut utilities, and there's a paper trail. Oh, this is beautiful. We can sue for constructive eviction, harassment, and emotional distress. Plus that identity theft issue, criminal charges. I didn't want to go nuclear. I just wanted her out of my life. But then Vanessa made it personal. She called my mom. My sweet, 62-year-old mother who lives 3 states away and has no idea about any of this drama. Told her I was dangerous and manipulative and that she should check on me because I might hurt myself. My mom called me in tears, terrified something was wrong. It took an hour to calm her down and explain the situation. And that was it. That's when I decided. Scorched earth. I filed a police report for identity theft. Filed a restraining order request with all my documentation. Had the lawyer send a demand letter for damages from the illegal eviction attempts. Reported her to her employer's HR for using company resources to harass me. She'd been calling from her work phone. But the best part, the most poetic justice of it all. Remember that rental property I kept? The one generating $2,100 a month? It's in a college town about 2 hours away. Fully furnished, 3 bedrooms, perfect for young professionals. Guess who just signed a lease for $2,400 a month and is moving in next week? That's right, Bradley, the financial advisor. He reached out after getting fired, desperate for a place after his firm blacklisted him. I actually felt bad for the guy. Vanessa had screwed him over too. So I gave him a slight deal on rent in exchange for testifying about the identity theft if needed. Vanessa found out when she tried to apologize to Bradley and convince him to lie about the credit check. He told her he was moving into my rental property and blocked her. The meltdown was epic. 67 missed calls in 3 hours. Voicemails ranging from screaming to crying to threatening to expose me. Expose what? That I own property and don't tolerate identity theft? Oh no, my reputation. This was no longer just about me. This was about all the people she'd lied to, manipulated, and thrown under the bus. And now she was reaping what she had so carefully sown. It was a beautiful, terrible thing to watch. Heavy sigh, as if the weight of the last few weeks is finally settling on them. Their voice is calmer now, more reflective. I moved out yesterday. The last 2 weeks have been instructive to say the least. It's like living through a storm, and now the sun is finally out, and you can see all the damage. First, the legal stuff. The identity theft charges are moving forward. The DA's office is particularly interested because forging power of attorney documents is a felony. Vanessa hired a lawyer who, I heard, immediately told her to stop contacting me. Did she listen? Of course not. She tried one last manipulation. She showed up at my work with a box of my stuff, mostly junk I'd left behind, crying about how sorry she was. Security wouldn't let her in. My boss had preemptively banned her, so she stood outside for 2 hours. My coworker, Derek, filmed it from the window. She went through the whole performance, tears, wailing, even dropped to her knees at one point. Then, when no one came out, she got up perfectly composed and made a phone call. Derek caught her saying, "He's not coming out." "Yeah, I'll try his mom again." That's when I knew I'd made the right choice. The restraining order was approved. She's not allowed within 500 feet of me, my work, or my new place. The judge was particularly interested in the 67 calls and the mother harassment. Her job wasn't as forgiving as mine. Turns out using company phones for personal harassment violates their code of conduct. They didn't fire her, but she got demoted from senior sales to junior. Lost her company car and about $30,000 in commission potential. The constructive eviction lawsuit is ongoing, but her lawyer already reached out about settling. Turns out, when you document everything and have clear evidence, people get nervous. We're looking at about $15,000 in damages, which, ironically, is almost exactly what she spent on luxury crap in the past year. But here's the beautiful part. Remember how she was always broke by the 20th? Without my rent money and with legal fees piling up, she had to break her lease on the downtown condo. Early termination fee was 2 months' rent, $6,400. She's now living with her sister in the suburbs, a 45-minute commute to work. No more walking to trendy bars or hosting wine nights to show off her place. Her sister, the one who messaged me, reached out last week. She's trying to sell her Tesla and her purses. Says it's to pay legal fees, but I think she's realizing she can't afford her lifestyle. Mom and Dad won't help because they're embarrassed about the arrest. "Thanks for the documentation, by the way," her sister said. "We've been trying to tell them about her spending for years." As for me, the new place is great. A 2-bedroom apartment in a quiet complex. Rent is $1,600, but it includes utilities. I've already set up my home office and invested the money I was saving on her place. That $800 a month for 8 months. Straight into index funds. I also started therapy to unpack why I ignored so many red flags. Turns out when someone shows you exactly who they are, on the first date, making me Venmo her for exactly half the bill down to the cent, you should probably listen. The rental property is doing great. Bradley's been a model tenant, even fixed some stuff himself. He sent me a picture of him grilling on the back deck with a thumbs up. Dude bounced back quick. Already got a job with a credit union. Vanessa's last attempt to contact me was through her lawyer. She wanted to mediate and avoid criminal charges. My lawyer's response was basically no. And here's another bill for making me read this. Her social media is now private, but mutual friends tell me she's been posting motivational quotes about surviving financial abuse and rising above toxic relationships. The comments are apparently brutal. Turns out when you lie about your ex being broke while spending his rent money on purses, people notice the contradiction. The funniest part is she's apparently telling people I trapped her by hiding my wealth. Like, girl, you had bad spending habits when you thought I was broke. My money wasn't the problem here. I learned some valuable lessons. 1. When someone shows you they're materialistic and entitled, believe them. 2. Document everything. Everything. 3. Tenant rights are powerful when you know them. 4. Never let anyone go through your mail. And 5. If someone's love is conditional on your bank balance, that's not love. Oh, and that $267,000? It's now $271, thanks to the market. Turns out living below your means and investing wisely beats spending money on crystal healing retreats. To anyone dealing with financial manipulation, your money is your money. A real partner respects your boundaries and contributes equally, regardless of who makes more. They don't demand access to your assets while lying about supporting you. And if someone ever asks to see your pay stub on a first date, just run. Just run. The restraining order is good for 2 years. Somehow, I don't think I'll need it that long. Vanessa's got bigger problems now, like explaining to future employers why she has a pending felony charge for identity theft. Me? I'm good. Better than good, actually. Learned a valuable lesson about keeping my financial cards close to my chest and that someone who truly loves you won't care if you're rich or poor, but they'll definitely care if you lie about it. Peace out, Reddit. I'm going camping next weekend with that truck camper I bought last month. Yeah, I bought a camper because I can, and because there's something poetic about driving away from drama in a house on wheels.